What's going on, people? So, I'm not at the lake. I can guarantee you that. You see a boat, you see water. But this is no vacation, I can guarantee you. I'm in line to get a truck washed out. They have held me up so much at my last load, it wasn't even funny, which is part of the reason why we can't haul freight that good. Is because all of these places that we're going to, they were warned a long time back, hey, you'll be starting to be charged if you hold up our drivers more than, hour or two. And we gave them 2 hours usually. And they've taken a little more and a little more. And oh, well, COVID makes them slower or less people or who knows what. And then you're sitting there for 6 hours waiting to get unloaded. So that's part of the reason freight's not moving. The other part is fuel is so high that drivers now, and this is what we've always done, look, this is nothing new. When fuel goes up, the fuel surcharge is still stuck at, whatever it is per diem, whatever the fuel surcharge is per gallon. Let's say that if fuel was $1 a gallon and you got no surcharge, extra money on your check, and then it went up to like $1.50, they would give you like, say, 15-cent surcharge or something. It's never quite as much as what the fuel winds up costing, but it's just a little something that says, we see fuel rates are high, we're going to give you this. Well, it takes a little bit for that to change, usually a week and a half to 2 weeks. So right now, while fuel is high and the fuel surcharge has not quite caught up yet, what you do is you go home and you sit there and you chill, because it's not worth you hauling the freight. Just like it's not worth them feeding out cows and growing them up and selling them right now, because it costs more to feed them and to get them grown and to market, especially with the price of diesel and the lack of resources and having to pay for hay as much as it costs. It's not worth them doing it, so they're pulling back and they're just taking care of their own people. They're like, hey, I'm going to grow enough cows for me and my family, and that's it. Well, same thing with trucking. So right now, you might find a shortage on the shelves even through this weekend, this holiday weekend, because fuel is so high and truckers are like, the fuel surcharge just ain't there. Now, I don't have this issue. I'm in a different contract, but there's a lot, most drivers who are not getting fuel surcharge, and the fuel surcharge hadn't caught up. So right now, though, we're in a holding pattern for war. I don't know if you realize it or not. Oh, but don't worry, there'll be plenty of blueberries. I can guarantee you that. I delivered them. We have a stockpile of blueberries. The rich people will have blueberries. I can tell you that. So, yeah, right now we're waiting on what Russia does, because they've already threatened to full-on attack through their news service. That's not really a news service. It's a mouthpiece for the Kremlin. It's basically a bunch of puppets, okay, talking heads with a script to read that says things that the government there, if they said it themselves, another country might say, well, you're declaring war. So they have pseudo declared war, and even Europe, UK has even told their people, hey, you need to get on a war footing, you need to be prepared for this. And with Russia taking over the grain supplies and messing that up and bombing and mining all of the fields in Ukraine, basically last year's crop can't get to market because they got an embargo and a blockade on Ukraine, and they've stolen some of it, but that's about it. So last year's crop won't go to market. This year's crop, because it'll just rot in where it's at in the silos. This year's crop can't go into silos because those silos are full and other ones were destroyed. And even if they could get it out of the fields, they wouldn't be planting again. that means Egypt's going to starve. That means there's a lot of South African countries. They're even talking about rationing the help and aid that they give to these countries that get aid all the time, because they have well, that's a lot of it's desert, you know. So right now though, we can look for Russia to try something this holiday. We can look for it, expect it. On a different 4th of July, they sent up some bombers. We met them with some jets and told them, hey, you know, get out of the airspace. And they basically said, oh, we just came up here to wish you a happy 4th of July, Independence Day. Yeah, that kind of mess. They'll actually try it this time. They'll actually try it. What they would like to happen is to be able to hit Europe and hit us at the same time. They would like that. Because if they take out Europe, then they don't have two countries that are major superpowers like the United States and Europe working together against them. And that's part of what they fear. But then at the same time, if they hit Europe, they know they're fixing to, you know, get retaliated upon from us. Well, if they hit us both at the same time, that's what they're thinking. This is what they think. This is how they think. Expect it. Expect Europe and the United States. Expect them to try it. If they can, they will. Because their economy is so bad that they're fixing to go on to a complete war economy. I don't know if you remember the pictures of Rosie the Riveter, where, you know, they're basically, everybody in the U.S. was working towards the military war effort. If you wasn't polishing brass, building ships, you know, working in a munitions company factory, you know, building tanks, you would be doing something. Or you'd be working in a scrapyard that brought in the metal so they can melt it down and make rounds out of it, or shell casings, depending. And then you'd be donating your bumpers and all for your own car, that kind of thing. Russia's run out, or very close to running out, of their main arms, their missiles. And they're going to start looking at that freaking stockpile they've got of tactical nukes, and they've never been above using them. They were going to use them when they were in at the Bay of Pigs. If it had gone further, they would have used. Their commander on the ground said they had authorization. They had the tactical nukes down there in Cuba, and he would have given the go-ahead to use them. Well, I told you Russia will nuke itself. You watch for it. And then they'll turn around and nuke Ukraine, and they're putting on notice. They've asked for more war powers. They put on notice their people that, hey, you know, they're looking at, I guess they're going to do a draft, but they are only using like something like, I don't know, some people say it's 15%. I think that's about more like 20% of their army that they're using in Ukraine. But even if it's 15%, they're talking about bringing all the rest of their military online right now. So full time. They also, I looked at the map before of what they were holding and fighting in Ukraine, and then I looked at where they had just in one day hit, and it looked like they hit all the areas in one day. So maybe they're going for their grand finale, like how we do fireworks, you know. They're going to have a push, and they'll push as far and as wide as they feel they need to. And like I put up the other day, I couldn't quite put it on here, but they the U.S. flew a squadron of the was it the F-35, F-22? I'll have to look at which ones are the Lightnings. Those sent a whole squad of them straight over to the Black Sea with their transponders on. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe that. It's like in their face, this is what we're doing and nobody can do anything about it kind of thing. But they will retaliate. They'll do something. And expect it on 4th of July. Because like I said, just like they did with those bombers, expect it. And hopefully, everybody will be on the ball, because they're looking to branch out and bring this war to a country near you. I can tell you that. It's one of those things where you got a whole world full of countries. All it takes is for one guy to be on his deathbed and fixing to go, to start a bunch of mess. And it's messed up our, well, they were a major supplier. We should have never done this, but they were a major supplier of fertilizer for us, for the world. And death comes from China, and they've slowed things down. So we're having a shortage of things that we use. And the places that are still planting crops, different countries, and they're using less or no fertilizer, they're just going to have way less of a yield. Fertilizer works. It is what it is. Nitrate makes a plant grow. So we're looking at next year is going to be a worldwide famine. We're looking at this year and right now a worldwide war. If you haven't looked at the price of a gallon of milk, I've always said that the temperature of the economy, if you're taking the temperature of a sick patient, the temperature of the economy is a gallon of milk, the price of a gallon of milk. If it's low, the economy's running along like a sewing machine. If it's high, you got problems, and it's going to be a difficult year. Because people can't afford that mess. Because incomes never catch up with inflation. And we're going into hyperinflation, where you need like a wheelbarrow full of money for like a roll of toilet paper kind of inflation. A shovel will be worth $100. I told y'all this. An old rusty shovel with no handle on it, I'm saying. Well, it's going to be a completely different economy. If you don't have a garden, you need a garden. Get potatoes in the ground if you don't have them already. And right now, a gallon of milk costs more than you think. And I can explain that. Let's say you go to the store and you buy a gallon of milk and you bring it home. You have just spent more than what the label of that gallon of milk says on it. Especially if you had to drive to 2 stores to get it, because it's $4 and something a gallon for the gas you spent. So, get out a calculator and see how many miles away you are from the store. Even if you're 2 miles away from the store, right? And then 2 miles back. Okay, that's 4. Let's just round it up to 5 because you had to go to a gas station. If you had to go to 2 stores, it could be 10 miles. But let's just say 5 miles, right? How much, forget about the wear and tear. Forget about the tires that are so expensive. It's 2 now. They went up. Forget about the wear and tear, the parts on your car that cost more, the mechanic that you can't afford. Forget about all that and just look at the price of the gas that you spent alone to go and get the gallon of milk. It went up in price because a trucker had to haul it there and diesel's high. And then in the first place, the cows needed feed and it was higher. Everything's made a gallon of milk more expensive, but then look at the gas that you spend to go get it. And it's nearly double what it was. You're not spending $1 a gallon, you're spending $4 a gallon. $5 a gallon. 5 times more the amount of gas it takes to get you to the store and back. That is a uncalculated cost to your own food. And it's going to happen very soon that cars are going to be on the side of the road because they will have the money for the gallon of milk, but they won't have the money for the gallon of gas. There's that. They'll be broke down in the middle of the road because they don't know how to get off the side without power steering. You'll see that a lot probably this holiday because people are so-called traveling, but they don't have a clue. And they're like, oh, well, I had to have more gas. They'll be at the gas pump going, hey, can you help me? I'm out of gas and I need some money. That's a scam that some of them run, but there's some people that's actually going to be saying that and be for real that they just didn't plan well. So you're looking at The traffic on the road is going to be a nightmare. People are going to be trying to drive slower to get better fuel mileage, but there's also, like I said, the ones that are going to break down, can't afford the parts, can't afford anything to even set up a car for going over the road on any kind of vacation. You know, brakes, whatever's wrong with the car in the first place, old tires, and they'll get out there and blow a tire. They can't even afford a tire, don't even have a spare tire. They're on the side of the road. Can you help? A whole lot of help, people. So I'll tell you what, I got an eye on a deer coming up this hill right now. You might not have seen it, but I've seen it. Yeah, there's people that won't even know what a deer is, but they might want to learn. That's where a lot of our meat's going to be coming from pretty soon. I can guarantee you that. So while you're trying to figure out the true cost of a gallon of milk, I'm going to get off this thing. We're absolutely, we need to be familiar with the underbelly of a Soviet MiG and of their bombers and what they look like. So if we spot them, we can let some people know. That's what's up with that. I'm just being honest. There's no reason to beat around the bush. So you got this view because I'm stuck in line in a truck wash. You wouldn't believe I'm in a truck wash. This is not the lake. So I'm about 5 deep waiting. As soon as I can get washed out, I'll go grab my next load, and you know. But people, it is fixing to pop off. They've already gotten to the point where they know that their economy is so shot it has to be a war economy. And a war economy has to move forward or it makes no sense. And the only way to make it move forward is to go ahead and have full-on frontal attacks with any of your enemy that's hurting your regular economy. That is just a fact. So, you know, Hitler didn't want to bomb the United Kingdom, England, because he felt like those were his people. That was his only drawback. And he actually stopped, and that's part of why they got him. Well, the thing is, Russia doesn't see anybody as their people, not even their own people. They don't care. They won't make the mistake that Hitler made. They will not what's the word? I search for words. They won't hesitate. They won't search for words. They already have plans. So they're going to implement some plans people have never even thought of before. Blitzkrieg is not even the word for it. It's going to be dirty. And every country over there knows it. Finland knows it because, see, all these countries over there that used to be part of Russia and have been attacked by Russia before and part of, they know what they do. And they're like, this is no joke. Y'all think y'all are playing? We're teaching our women how to shoot guns, you know, and throw grenades. That's what's up. You know, you're going to watch them put this to use. This is no joke, people. They never planned on stopping with Ukraine. They always planned on going further. This was supposed to be, though, a little 3 to 5 day event that they were going to take over Ukraine, and it was supposed to be done. That's what they thought. They thought Ukraine was going to roll over and wouldn't have no international help, because technically they're not part of NATO. No, there's fixing to be quite a few other countries embroiled in this. Guaranteed. And I worry about the Spetsnaz people they have over here. Because if you haven't noticed, well, I'll just give you this one. Back when I did the video and was like, this is not normal for, you know, this to go on with the, basically, 2 barges that so-called magical got loose, even though they have orange chains on them that weigh more than I do, hooked around a big pillar about 2 foot, 3 foot taller, then it you know, drops around it. It's like a post. Okay, you drop a chain around a post, it ain't coming off. And the captain's responsible. No. 2 barges, and what was in them? Anybody? Fertilizer. It started even before that. They know about the power outages that have happened where some substations were attacked, and they know that it was planned and well orchestrated. We start seeing stuff like that, then they've activated their people that are here that are sleeper cells. If you don't think they're here, you are sadly mistaken and you're lying to yourself. It's already happened. So hopefully we can just be alert. Don't drop your guard down just because we're celebrating our independence. That's the perfect time when a bunch of fireworks is going off for something crazy to pop off at the same time. It's called diversionary subterfuge. It's the first element of war. I'm gonna get off this thing. You got to enjoy the view. Sorry for the doom and gloom of it all, but it's just happening, people. It's real. I told you Russia wasn't leaving Ukraine. That was my knowing. All this other stuff I've just talked about is just absolutely what's happening and what's in front of me. Don't have to have a vision if something's in front of you. So I'm gonna get off this thing. God bless you, people. It ain't gonna be long. We'll be buying war bonds. I can tell you that much. It's messed up. So that whole regime over there has got to be stopped. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to try some sly stuff, and this is the perfect timing. It's what they've done before. It's in their playbook. Watch for it. That's all I got. God bless you, and I'm out. Peace.